Hey everybody, welcome back to Coffee Chats.
Oh my goodness. Hello, beautiful people. We're so excited for this particular episode. It's going to be a really good one. Also, I've been meaning to do this, and I know we've done it in the past, but at the outset of the coffee chat, we ought to do a beverage check.
Yes. I've got my tea. This is the Passion Tazo tea that you can get at Starbucks, but I got it at Target. And it's iced, even though it's 30 degrees outside.
A mood. I am a flake, and I did not bring a beverage this time around. But next
Why'd
time,
you bring it up?
I mean, it's only because I feel like it should be a thing. It's a coffee chat, and therefore we always say bring a beverage of choice. So we should talk about our beverages,
Yeah.
Yeah.
But right. Well, next time.
Yes, next time. But we're so excited to bring on our wonderful guests today. They know the world of book awards better than anybody else that we know. So, of course, we invited them for their expertise to talk about this topic. And so, without further ado...
Hello.
Illustrious.
Howdy.
Hi, everyone. Glad to be here.
Hannah and Stephen, if you would both introduce yourselves, who you are, what you do, and what you have to do with book awards.
Ladies first.
Thank you very much, Stephen. My name is Hannah Jacobson, and I'm the founder of Book Award Pro. We're a technology company that makes book awards simpler. We help authors become award-winning authors. And I'll pass the mic over to Stephen.
And I am Stephen, and I am a Christian fiction author, and I am an award-winning author. I won the third place in the Global Book Awards overall for the YA category in 2021, which was very exciting and very unexpected.
Go, Stephen. Yeah. And Kyra and I, we've actually had one conversation with both Hannah and Stephen previously before we decided to take coffee chats to the internet. And when we first met Hannah, right afterwards, I signed up for Book Award Pro and started applying to awards. And since then, I've won 1 in 3 categories. So now I get to say I'm an award-winning author, which that's the whole deal, right? That's the reason why to do it. And Kyra as well. That way.
I was inspired by the talk as well, and so we had the conversation with Hannah and Stephen, and then Mackenzie got it, and then after drawing inspiration from all of you, I also signed up for Book Award Pro, and I've won 8 awards so far. Well, I guess 6 because I won 3, like first place in 3 categories. So yeah, it's been awesome. It's been awesome.
So exciting, and I feel like I'm really surrounded by the stars here, the all award-winning authors. Congratulations, all of you. And every award is completely different. Every recognition, every time your work is recognized, that's something to celebrate. So I'll pass the mic back over, but
yeah,
kudos and congrats to all of you. That's awesome.
Thank you. I'm sure authors in the audience are now wondering, well, how can I win awards? Where do I even start? So we do have some questions for both of you here today, and we'll start with this one. And if at any time viewers watching have questions, feel free to drop them in the chat. We might pull them onto the screen. So how early in the writing and or marketing process should authors begin to think about book awards?
So when you're publishing your book, you're not really looking for one more thing to do, right? You're not looking for one more thing to add to your checklist. But there actually is a great time frame to begin searching for book awards and really taking things seriously, because book awards take into account copyright date and publication date. So that's why time is kind of the essence. The sooner you can get started, the more time you have to explore your options, meet deadlines, maybe even put your book into a couple of different cycles of the award and increase your likelihood of winning. So as an easy response here, The best time is about 1 to 3 months prior to publication. Your book is typically about like 95% complete. You may have minor tweaks to make, but in that time frame, your book feels like a book. And at that point, you can begin submitting for awards and even have the possibility of launching your book as award-winning, and you're an award-winning author. And Stephen,
Yeah.
I'd love to hear your thoughts too. I know you've been through this process.
Yeah, and I cannot agree more with the whole they take it copyright into account. I am salty to say the least about some of the awards that I wanted to submit to, and they're like, "Yeah, by the way, you can't." And I was mad because I wanted to so bad. But copyright, it was for a previous year. Some, yeah, we'll get into that later. Really, in terms of like when you should be looking for it, I'd say start now, especially at the beginning of the year. Now is the time to jump on a lot of these because there's a lot of awards coming up or just starting. For instance, I just got an email the other day that the Global Book Awards open much sooner than it was last year. So, like, which is absolutely phenomenal. I can't submit again to it. So if you guys want to, like, you can, because I'm not going to be able to place in it because of when my book was published and the fact that I already had entered it. The Page Turner Awards, just got an email from them. Boom. That one's opened it up. And I will be submitting to that one again because it was absolutely fantastic. Didn't win, but I'm still going to try. But yeah, you really, especially at the beginning of the year, want to try and jump on as many of these as possible, as much as you can financially afford to, because there's a cost, which is one of the reasons why I recommend starting to look as soon as possible. Even if you're like, my book's not going to be published till next year, look at what the cost is for those awards. Start saving your pennies. Maybe skip the Starbucks for 4 or 5 days. I know for many that is a soul-crushing thought, but if you want to become an award-winning author, sacrifices must be made.
Yes, that. And I think one piece of advice in tandem with that is look at the awards that can potentially offer you other things if you win them. So, especially for ones that cost more, it's not a total, I don't want to say sunk cost, but if for the ones that cost more, they might offer, you could win a cash prize, or you could win an interview, or they might promote you in their newsletter, or you could win a subscription to their thing. There are all kinds of different prizes and perks that they might give you, versus say if it's only $20 to enter, they might not give you anything. It's just an entry fee. Yeah. So know your limits and what you're willing to spend, but it's all part of your book marketing budget, right? So in considering awards, is it better to submit as many as possible or focus on a few?
I would say probably focus on a few. And the reason for that is that you want to be strategic. You don't want to suddenly win like 18 awards and say, hey, look at this. And it's like, awesome. Who are they? And no one knows who these awards are. You want to try and be purposeful because you also want to take into account what that award's presence is on social media. If they're like, we're going to send you out into our newsletter, and it's like just their cousins, that doesn't really make a lot of sense. If they're only followed by like 4 people on social media, that also doesn't make a lot of sense. You're not actually winning anything other than a sticker. That's it.
Which bragging rights could be helpful for your very first award, right? To be able to add to your bio, award-winning author, or just put it everywhere, right?
Yep.
So that could be the thing that you're winning.
Absolutely. And you want to make sure that if it's going to be for bragging rights, that you are confident in the award that you won.
That.
Because you don't want to be like, I'm an award-winning author, and they're like, who's it through? And you're like, Bob's Burger Awards. It was great. I beat out all of the competition. And they're like, yeah, sure. You did. Yeah, you want to make sure that like you want to be proud of winning that award. So like when you're searching for those awards, look for ones that you would be proud to win and proud to have that sticker on the front of your book.
Yeah.
And on your website and all over your social media. The Global Book Awards, I was like, yep, absolutely proud of winning that. If I won Page Turner Awards, I'd be absolutely proud to do that. If I could do the Realm Makers Awards, unfortunately I can't because again, copyright was too late. I'd be proud to have that because it's Christian speculative fiction. So you want to just make sure that you're submitting to things that you're going to ultimately be proud of.
That's awesome and super helpful. Thank you, Stephen. As far as, is it better to submit to as many awards as possible or really focus on a few? In principle, I actually call this targeting your award opportunities. There are literally thousands of book awards. Not only is it financially not impossible, but improbable to explore all of those opportunities. But even to find the time to submit to thousands of book awards, that's a lot. The truth is, really targeting your opportunities can save you time and money, and actually increase your likelihood of winning an award. So you don't have to apply to 100 awards to win one by targeting opportunities that are a really great fit for your book. The feel, the what are they looking for? That's how to go about it. Target your most promising opportunities.
I think that the idea of targeting, to your point, Hannah, is, I mean, we've been talking about this. It's been a thread throughout our conversation thus far. When you target, you're making the most out of your potential investment, so to speak. So it may cost money to submit to some book awards. I know that some of them work on like a nomination basis, but a lot of them do cost money to submit. So Stephen, you already touched on this a little bit, but what are some of the best ways to navigate the finances of the submission process?
Yeah, I think when it comes to the finances, you have to take into account, kind of like what Mackenzie was saying earlier, what are you getting for that investment? So for instance, Global Book Awards, it was the cost last year was about $120. And in terms of like what you get out of it, wasn't a whole lot. But I was like, this is something that is backed by an author that, I respect. So like, I'm willing to put out that kind of money for it. The Page Turner Awards, which again, I just got the email. So it's fresh in my mind. They have the ability to submit to different categories. You could submit to have your book turned into a screenplay for a movie. So if you win, that's worth that money. So taking into account what it is that you're going to get back out of it, I have less interest in a newsletter blast or social media presence. Those are nice, but I want something a little bit more tangible. So because again, if I like the award, but they only have like a handful of people following them, their social media presence doesn't really add up to a whole lot. But if they're like, hey, we have connections, we may be a small award, but we have connections to people that could help you turn your book into a movie. Now I'm interested. I'm willing to put out a little bit more money for that, even in the chance that I don't win, to try and get something like that. So, there's going to be a range of costs. So start saving. Look at what the costs might be. Little plug for Hannah's program. I also subscribe to Book Award Pro, and so I get a list and updates on this, and it tells me what the cost is for everything. So not only can I go in and I can look at the awards, I can say, is this worth my investment of $45, $65, $95, $85? Is it worth it? And then I have the opportunity to actually research that and determine for myself whether that's the case. So that to me is really, you want to be frugal and strategic with where you're putting your money, because let's face it, authors don't have a lot. So we have to make use of every dime we have.
And you can think about, if your book is already published, using the money that your book is making towards your award submission fund. That's one idea. And to throw some shade at one particular award, nonfiction book awards, they were like, $300, please, for your submission. I'm like, oh, what do I get? Nothing. Okay. Well, thank you. Have a nice day.
I mean, another quick note to sort of talk about, and I think Mackenzie did a great job of explaining this earlier on, but something that I look for when I submit to awards, and this isn't like a deal breaker or anything, but like I enjoy it when I'm submitting to an award where even if I don't win, I get some sort of comprehensive feedback from a reviewer.
Yeah.
Because at least I know what a reader thought of what I submitted.
That's
just
huge.
Yeah, that makes me feel more validated and seen as an author because somebody actually went through the effort to review said book for award.
I'd like to add on a couple of ways you can save some money and kind of navigate your way through entry fees. To Mackenzie's point, not every award is, it may not feel like a right fit for your book, and there's totally nothing wrong with that. I've heard all of you mention the concept of award bonus benefits. This is really something new to the award sphere. It's really growing in popularity. Awards are seeing, of course, they're finding ways to provide benefit with your entry fee. So no matter what, whether you become award winning or not, there's still value in that entry fee. And all of you also mentioned, like a review from someone who really read your book. That feels tangible and useful. You can actually go on to use that review in your marketing materials. A couple of kind of quick ways to watch out for to save some money. Maybe early bird entry fees. Not every award has that, but sometimes you can be on the lookout for that. Sometimes you can bundle multiple categories and save some pretty good money by bundling that. One of my personal favorites, again, authors, you're business owners, so you're trying to juggle sales and marketing and also your next project, writing your next books and trying to manage everything at the same time. That's very cumbersome, and also gets to be really expensive. I've heard millions of times that good editing costs money. Everything costs money. But something you can do for your book, no matter what award you're submitting to, no matter how much the entry fee costs, as soon as you submit your book or have your book submitted, share the news with your audience. To you, it may not feel like a special moment. You may feel like you just submitted a form or, presented your book to a judging panel. Maybe that doesn't seem special to you. But remember that your audience is readers. They're not used to, an award submission is not your everyday Wednesday. That's really cool news to hear from your favorite author. So be sure to share that news with your fans, your readers. Make a social post about it. Share it with your email list. You don't have to be salesy about it. You can use, stay true to your personality and your tastes, and share that news with your audience and make every award entry fee count. And those are some of my favorite tips to really maximize if you're going to be paying award entry fees. Make the most of it. Make it mean something. Make it do something for your book.
Yep.
So since we're talking, you second
no,
that?
I'm just seconding that.
Excellent. We all concur with all aforementioned statements. But I mean, since again, we're talking, I think a huge part of what we're talking about, I mean, it's so cool hearing a lot of what we're all saying, like coalesce in all these cool ways, like our language is overlapping, etc. But to tease out what Hannah was saying earlier about targeting and like really aligning your book to what could be most successful with a given award, the next question we have for you, and I'm going to read it. Though many book awards focus on genre, like the nonfiction award that Mackenzie talks about. Others may be based on other qualifications. Do some types of book awards carry greater weight than others, or does that depend on the author's desired audience?
I'm gonna pass. Say Hannah first.
Yeah, I'll jump in and say, I'll start with an example. There are book awards that maybe they judge on other qualifications, like the Best Book Cover Award. And to you, you spend a lot of time and money and effort working with your cover designer, and you really want to showcase that aspect of your book. That's still considered a book award, and that's still a perfectly valid marketing opportunity. So say that you enter a book cover award by an organization that most people don't know. It's not the National Book Award. And say that you win. When you share that news with your readers, most authors are almost surprised to find that the readers aren't asking, who's the awarding organization? They're asking, oh my gosh, what does that mean to win an award? I mean, everyone the world round knows what an award is, but what does it mean to win a book award? And that opens up the opportunity to tell your story and shape the story, craft the story of how you got to work with your cover designer. What was that process like? Most readers don't understand what a huge, long, very challenging piece of the publishing puzzle that is. It's an opportunity to share. And in that way, becoming an award-winning author, you won that cover design award. It gave you the opportunity to share that with your reader. And that kind of sharing a real story that really connects well with your readers. And as far as, do some type of book awards carry greater weight? More people have heard of the National Book Award or the Man Booker Prize or even the Pulitzer Prize. But it's also true that the smaller awards, they count too. You don't have to be a Pulitzer Prize award-winning author to be successful. And even the major prize winners would tell you that becoming a major award winner doesn't automatically make all the pieces fall together. You still have the same problems that every other author faces: book sales, reviews. They also went through the strenuous editing process. So some awards are more famous, but it doesn't make them necessarily more value. It doesn't instantly make you famous. It doesn't make everything come together. So find value in the smaller awards where you may also have a better chance of winning. And with that chance of winning, really use it as an opportunity to share a story and spark interest with a new reader.
I love that. That definitely changes my perspective on like the book cover awards specifically. Because like I've seen those and I was like, yeah, I could, but what does it matter for like me and my audience? But that definitely changes my perspective on it a little bit. I would agree that book awards, I think that some would argue that it's just vanity. Just to pat ourselves on the back for, all the hard work, which we should do because it's hard freaking work. Like there was a reviewer that was like, yeah, I've shredded Pulitzer Prize winners because they're absolute garbage. And it didn't matter that the person had won. So I think that it should be down to what do you want as an author, your book to stand out for? What about your book is your marketing angle? Like I deal with a Christian worldview tackling hard topics around subjects that most people do not want to talk about. And it's in YA, which is kind of also unique in that sense. And so the fact that when I saw the opportunity to submit to the Global Book Awards and I chose fantasy and YA, as my 2 categories to be able to submit to, that's what I want to be known for. I want to be known for fantasy and YA. And then I took 3rd place in overall the YA category. And so to me, that was something that mattered for my marketing because that's where my book lives. And so I think when you find an award that makes sense for your book, then you should try and go for it, provided it doesn't cost like $1 bazillion and you can financially afford it. Like, don't risk your finances in the hopes that you might win, $100,000, but it's going to cost you like $1,000 to enter. Like, those aren't great odds. But yeah, trying to find something that carries weight for yourself.
Yeah.
Stephen, I love that you specifically mentioned it's almost another way to position your book. And that's another way to position your book to the audience. Say you wanted to break into a slightly different subgenre that you want your readers to really grasp onto. Even sharing your nomination or your award win, it helps your readers see your book through your eyes. And that's really special. Really good call there.
So I do have a quick follow-up question to this. So a lot of the language that we've been using was sort of more about aligning the subject matter or the content of your book to an award. But I know that there are some book awards that exist that are more like author identity centric. So do you approach those kinds of book awards in a different way, or are genre or book related book awards and author identity centric book awards, can they be utilized in the same way to amplify your brand?
I've only ever done the genre ones because my goal is not so much to promote myself. Like, you really won't see me calling myself an award-winning author, because to me the book won the award. Sure, I penned it, but the book won the award. And that is because for me as an author, my books come first before anything about me. So I want to be known by my books and by the stories that I tell. So when it's an award, it's going to be about the book. It very, very rarely will have anything to do with me. I didn't even know that author awards were a thing. So I'm curious as to what Hannah will have to say about those ones.
I also love, this is another book award trend. We're seeing awards open up that maybe deal with gender identity, maybe even where you live, even where the book setting is placed. There's all kinds of factors that let's, take an award that's given for the best book about a small town in Minnesota. Well, maybe that's, I'm not from Minnesota, but maybe to someone an author who is, that really aligns with their beliefs, that feels right to them, that feels good. That's a fresh opportunity for them to capture. And again, not every award is perfect for everyone, but in those, awards that encapsulate author identity as well as book material, there's a lot of possibilities there. And you can use them in the same way, if it's, sometimes you'll also see phrasing an award is given to an author whose book is about some kind of material. Just throwing that out there, that's also kind of a slightly different way to phrase it. But you can use those awards, they're book awards as well, as long as it's, something about the author and something about the book used in tandem. That's still considered a book award. That's a great question.
And often authors are writing about their own experiences or utilizing their experiences in the storytelling. And so that would be very much aligned if those things are aligned for you as well. I know for me, I did submit to a young author under 25, and I either placed first or second in that category. I don't remember. I no longer qualify for that category anymore. But I did get that one. And that felt good for me because, I mean, to have published a book at a young age is a pretty big deal. So that felt like a win. So that one was aligned for sure.
Congrats. That's awesome. And did
you.
Just a follow-up question for you, did that feel, like being recognized among a group of people similar to you, did that feel a little extra special?
It did, and it felt different. Like Stephen was saying, to submit under a niche group and then to submit under YA and win against all the other YA books, like that's a much bigger genre, right? Just to submit under my like guidebook category, that one was nice to win because that's a very niche thing that my book qualifies for. But to submit under young author under 25, which could be a ton of other people writing a variety of different kinds of books, to be selected for that one was meaningful to me.
That's awesome. And thank you for sharing that. I'll also share on the flip side, I have seen awards that are for ages 55 and up for someone's first novel being published. And that's exciting to see, all kinds of different authors being awarded for actually creating their book, going out, taking risks, building something beautiful, and sharing it with the world. That's really exciting to see that. I hope that trend continues to grow.
This feels like a good moment to ask one of our final questions, which is, what has been your favorite part of either navigating the world of book awards or just book awards in general and what they do for authors? Or you, in the case of Stephen.
I think for me, when I submitted to the Page Turner Awards, I picked one category because broke author problems. And so, that's all I could afford. And that was like February of last year. So, I mean, and we didn't get the announcements of the winners until close to like September, October of last year. But, that was just kind of like I'm just going to kind of dip my foot into it and throw it out there and see. And then in July, when I got the invitation for the Global Book Awards, which was a very last minute thing, they were like, hey, the announcement for the winners goes out in like the beginning of September. I'm like, holy crap, like that's a lot faster than most of the other ones out there. Sure, take another flyer, $120. Do I have it? No. Let's just see what happens. And I honestly forgot about it because I was busy doing so much other stuff. And then all of a sudden I get this email like, hey, you're a finalist. And I was like, huh? Okay, I should do a post about that. I'm like, no, I'm not going to do a post about that. That's stupid. Like, I'm just a finalist. Like, nothing's even going to happen. And then I get the email that said, you won the Global Book Awards for YA. And I'm like, I need proof. Like, I need to see it for my own eyes. And then actually, no, it said you won in your category. And then I completely forgot where I had actually even put my book in because it had been so long. So then I had to try and find it. Finally did, under YA, 3rd place. And I was just shook because I was like, out of all of the people, the context and the content of what I write is not for everybody. It's very emotionally intense stuff. And to understand that someone or several someones resonated so strongly with it that out of all of the other people, and I don't know how many people submitted, I took 3rd place in YA. And it was a very validating moment as someone who has been wanting to publish a book since I was 16, to see my book win an award and be acknowledged in that way was just a very, very exciting thing. And so, posting about it, and it's on, my website. I have the stickers on it, and, so it was it was a really cool moment. And I hope that, in the future, I'm able to, win some more, because it's not that I need the validation for it. It's that the book deserves it. It just does. And so, especially if I ever take or get this trilogy finished, I am absolutely going to be submitting to turn this into a movie, or a TV series, probably a TV series, because I don't trust Hollywood, with most of the creative control still remaining in my hands, just to be clear. But yeah, I think that was probably the coolest part of this, is to have that validation as an author and to see the book awarded, which is a really cool feeling.
And actually, Kyra and Mackenzie, I'd love if you share your experiences as award-winning authors before I go. I'd love to hear.
Look at you turning around the question on us. Oh my gosh. My favorite part of just the whole thing is how quickly it all happened. That was very satisfying for me. Happy brain. Like, from the time period it took for me to learn that I could win a book award, it was always something I was aware of. Like, I was aware of the Pulitzer Prize. And in my mind, I'm like, I don't know how you win those things. I feel like you have to be traditionally published. And I feel like someone submits on your behalf, was like my general knowledge. But then after learning about it, signing up and applying, all within like a couple months, I won my first award. And I was like, oh, whoa, no one told me it was that easy. And then that was also like, not necessarily easy, because writing the book was the hard part comparatively. But all of that, learning was just the most empowering piece to it.
I think for me, book awards, similarly to Stephen, when he said, the book deserves it. I mean, even as an author, even now that I've won book awards, I have always struggled with taking myself and my work seriously. It's not that I don't think my work is good. It's not that I don't think I have talent. It's just that, there's always that weird imposter syndrome that's inside of you, and you want to be confident, but you don't want to be cocky. So you're just like, how do you navigate that terrain of being confident in what you do while also not being obnoxious about it? And so when I submit to book awards, I'm like, I'm submitting this because I feel the sense of alignment. I am targeting this opportunity for an audience to find my book credible, like, and want to engage with my story because of this seal of approval, give myself access to new readers. And when I told my mom that I started submitting to book awards, she was like, Kyra, I'm so proud of you for putting yourself out there. Because, there's always a chance that you don't win. And
Right.
there's that sting of rejection and whatnot. But it's like, you know what? I wrote the story. I'm proud of the story. People who engage with the story enjoy it. And, it's really a win-win situation, regardless of whether you win or lose the book award, because you had the faith in yourself, the faith in the process enough to like put yourself out there. And I feel like this whole process has really helped me grow as a person, because, you're not for everyone, but it's for somebody.
Definitely a confidence booster. So with all that, we will ask our final question and remind folks that you can ask questions in the chat. And the last question we have for our lovely guests: any parting words of wisdom?
I'm going to defer to Hannah to start.
And thank you so much, you guys, just for sharing your award-winning experiences and really what it's like to go through the process. Something very magical that a lot of authors find is it's very empowering. Trust yourself, trust your work. You've already done the hardest work of writing your book, creating it, putting it out into the world. Don't be scared of rejection. lean forward into possibility and opportunity. Learn from your fellow authors here who are doing the same and finding this new unexplored world. I wish you all great success.
Thank you.
I think what I will add is that trying to find book awards is probably a bazillion times harder than actually submitting to them. And so with that being said, for those of you watching now and who are watching later, I highly recommend going to check out Hannah's company, Book Award Pro. I've signed up for it. We've all signed up for it. And because we all don't want to waste our time searching the interwebs.
But we don't have the extra time.
We have to write books, y'all.
Yeah.
Like, we don't have time to go search the interwebernets and like the 15 pages of Google past page 1 to try and find things to submit to. So the base level is what I have, and it just sends information based on like the genre categories and whatnot. And then it's up to me to go and to look and to kind of sift through them of what one do I want to submit to? Is there any that I want to submit to? When is the deadline? Like that kind of stuff. So I believe there's a link down in the show notes where we've linked to her site. So I do recommend that you guys go and check that out because it really does help speed things up for you. I spent 2 hours one day just trying to find book awards. And do you know how many book awards I found that I was qualifying for? Nothing. Versus getting an email like every other day, but like, hey, you've qualified for a book award. You should come and check it out. I'm like, okay. Even if I don't submit to it, it was sent to me. Mm-hmm. So it's definitely worth it. And I think aside from that, I would say that figure out what you want for your book. What do you want your book to do for you? What do you want to do for your book? Your book is worth it. You've put a lot of time, blood, sweat, tears, angsty nights, trying to get it out there into the world. The least you can do is reward it.
Well said, Stephen. Thank you both for your time today, for your wisdom, for your answers to our questions. Kyra, you want to say your thank you to them before I kick them out?
Yeah, thank you both so much. It was just I learned so much from you too, as always.
Thank you so much for hosting us. It's been wonderful. And congratulations to all of you for all your award-winning success. And Stephen, thank you for your kind thoughts about Book Award Pro. We really want to make our authors happy, and that means the world to me. Thank you.
It's my pleasure.
All right, you guys. Well, that is the end of Coffee Chat for today. If there are additional topics that you would like to hear us talk about, additional questions you have, feel free to suggest them in a DM to us, in any of the places you can talk to us below, in the chat, in the comments, all the things. And if you would like to look more into Book Award Pro, we have a link down for you below. It is my affiliate link, so support is appreciated for us doing the video, providing the information, all that good stuff, for you to sign up if you are interested. I highly recommend it. I would echo the same thing that Stephen said, in that I really appreciate just right into my inbox the notifications and telling me exactly what I qualify for, and I can go and look into for all the categories. Like, it might tell me one award and send me all the categories I can qualify for and apply into. And all you got to do is just fill out biographical information about yourself and your book, and off you go. So that's Coffee Chat today. Kyra, anything else?
Couple quick things. One, I just want to echo what you and Stephen have said. I'm also a proud user of Book Award Pro, and in addition to what you guys have said, I really appreciate the diversity of the awards that are sent.
Yes.
Because even though like genre is a big thing for book awards, like there are other ways that you could categorize yourself and your book, and that's really cool. And it's helped me think of myself and my book in new ways. So that's been awesome. And also for our next installment of Coffee Chats, we'll be talking about diversity within the publishing sphere and what that means for diverse storytelling and navigating and avoiding gatekeeping.
Yes.
Politely.
I'm excited for this one.
I know. Well, thank you all so much. I hope you have a wonderful rest of your day. Till next time.
See you next week.